Welcome to the April 11th, 2018 Delhi Board of Trustees meeting. Tonight we will begin the meeting as we usually do with a Pledge of Allegiance, then a moment of silence. Tonight's moment of silence is in memory of Jeanette Newman Bryson. Jeanette was a friend of the board through her employment at Mount St. Joseph University, where she was employed for 31 years. She is survived by her husband David and twin boys Jacob and Connor. Funeral service will be held this weekend. Rest in peace, dear friend. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, we will start out with the approval of the minutes. Mr. Luby.
Motion 2018-063, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on March 28th, 2018, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2018-063.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Motion 2018-064, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2018-064.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries.
Motion 2018-065, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending March 27th, 2018.
I move motion 2018-065.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, report from the fiscal officer, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2018-050, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the Township by the Township Administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-051, resolution amending appropriations for expenses and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Cameron?
Sure. Just briefly, this is an additional for the billing we got from the auditor for the election last year. I had appropriated $5,000, which was based off the previous year. Of course, we didn't have the election, so this is $11,500 was the total cost for us. So we need to add the $6,500 to the line.
Okay, thank you.
7,000, I believe.
Any questions? All right.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
As far as significant transactions since last meeting, we did receive a real estate tax advance of $584,000. We did cut a check to Hamilton County for the quarterly dispatch fees for $25,000. We cut a check to Northgate Ford for a 2018 Ford Taurus for our police department, which was $25,000. And on 4/5, our payroll was $260,000. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Trustee correspondence, Mrs. Seavey.
Yeah, I just want to thank those community members who made it out in support of the Katie Lexinger Memorial event. I think we all know that Uncle Bob's a tremendous supporter to the community, both to our fire and police departments, and so it was great to see so many of you there.
Thank you. Trustee Davis?
Just as I'm sure many are aware, that maybe some aren't aware of the passing of Mrs. Liscalia just a few days ago. And a funeral, I believe, is this coming Friday. And she was the wife of Nicholas J. Liscalia, who was a trustee for many, many years here. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to the family also.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't aware. Thank you. Recently, Mr. DeLong, Mr. Cameron, and myself met with the hierarchy of the metro system. And they are looking at a program called Reinventing Metro. They're looking at their future and their lack of finances and so on and so forth with it. So they are having community meetings that are going to be held different locations throughout the city. The ones that are nearby are Saturday, April 28th, 1 to 2:30 at Westwood Town Center, or Westwood Town Hall, I'm sorry. Tuesday, May 1st, Colerain Township Community Center. Wednesday, May 2nd, 11:30 to 1, Downtown Library. And Wednesday, May 9th, 6:30 to 8 at Nathaniel Green Lodge over on Wesselman in Green Township. It has to do with sales tax increases, and they have a couple configurations of what they can do with different levels of sales tax increases. So they'd like to share with the community and get input from everybody what their plans are at different levels. Everybody is invited to attend, to listen or give input. They do have a website where you can read more about it. It's www.reinventingmetro.com. A lot of information there to read. So you're invited, and we just wanted to let you know what's going on. There are some benefits that they said would benefit our bus routes here in Delhi also. So, all right. Let's move on then, please, with special presentations. We have two of them tonight. We have the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County to talk about their levy, and Kathy Bach.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all tonight. I do have some fact sheets and some program calendars that I can leave with you all and with the residents, if that's okay. My name is Kathy Bach, and I'm the manager of the Delhi Township branch. I have been there for about a year now, but I've been with the public library for 25 years. So before, I'm going to give you guys some information about a levy that is on the May 8th ballot, but before I get to that, I just want to brag a little bit about our own Delhi branch here in Delhi Township. This past year at Delhi, over 168,000 people visited our location, which makes Delhi the 7th most visited branch in all of Hamilton County. Our customers checked out over 467,000 items, 8th most in the county. 22,000 people attended 620 programs or events at our library, and that is the #1 program use in the county. So that's awesome. That's things like story times, book clubs, after-school programs. If any of you guys have been in the branch during preschool story time, it may have felt like all 22,000 people were there on that day. It gets a little packed, a little busy, but it's great. Also, our customers have logged over 34,000 computer sessions, and I can attest from my own day-to-day work there that it's many people who are doing job searches, working on their resume, sending attachments, using Wi-Fi, things like that for their businesses. So, of course, let me see if I can work the technology. Here's a few more things by the numbers that are for the county as a whole. Our 40 branches and the main library are committed to education, lifelong learning, and quality of life. Our library is one of the oldest and busiest in the nation. So 80% of Hamilton County households have at least one library card. And we have 41 locations across the county, which totals 930,000 square feet. So that's a lot of real estate that we're talking about. Our circulation has gone up since 2000, and this is circulation of physical items, not just digital items, although we are a leader in that as well. Another particular stat that we're particularly proud of is that Cincinnati and Hamilton County is the second busiest library in the entire nation. That's only behind New York Public. So when you think about that, that's really astounding. Like LA, Chicago, other major metropolitan areas, our customers are checking out more things than any of those. And again, in case you're asking, aren't these just people who are like reading everything online now? Do people even go in libraries anymore? I can assure you that they are. Last year alone, our customers checked out over 16 million physical items from the library. And so that's stuff that was carried out in bags, boxes, trunks of cars, etc. We're very heavily utilized. And every year, over thousands of children come to our 41 locations for help with homework, tutoring, literacy skills. Our adults come in to support their small businesses, the local economy, job searches, meeting rooms, Wi-Fi, classes, online classes, all kinds of things. So we provide nearly 20,000 free programs each year for residents of all ages. I put this slide up here. We've gotten some national awards. as well as numerous state and local awards as well. And the one I really like to point out is that first one there, it's a Certificate of Achievement with Distinction from the state auditor. And the reason I like to point that out is because we are very fiscally responsible with our tax dollars. We work hard to meet our community needs. So let's look a little bit at the funding throughout the state of Ohio. Hamilton County currently has the lowest local funding of any major library system in the state. Our library state funding has been cut by 26% since the year 2000, but during that time, our circulation has increased by 60%. So we're essentially doing more with less. Our library has not increased our budget in nearly 20 years. So that brings us to the facilities needs. Remember I said all that real estate and square footage that we have? We have 41 locations, more than 930,000 square feet. And as I mentioned, we are one of the oldest library systems in the country. Several of our branches are decades old, and 7 are more than a century old. Has anyone been in the Price Hill branch? That is like an old Carnegie. It was a beautiful building, but it's in desperate need of repairs, and it's not handicap accessible. So that's the closest one here to Delhi that I like to point out as well. So system-wide, we're looking at $54 million in repairs, replacements, and renovation to library facilities are needed. We've held over 40 community meetings at branches and across the county to gather input, and the staff initiated an 18-month comprehensive review of our facilities to determine the work that needs to be done. Which brings us to, which brings us to the May levy request. So everybody asks, how much is it going to cost? And that is the number one question. It's for $1 million for 10 years. It's less than $3 a month per $100,000 of property value, which means if your value is about $100,000, you'll pay about $34 a year for this levy. With it, our library can provide each community with a branch that's well-maintained, up-to-date, and handicap accessible. Again, I'm at Delhi, so I always like to bring it back to Delhi. And if you guys have been in there recently, you'll notice that we have gotten a new roof, which we're very thankful for because books and water do not mix. So we really needed that, and that is happening now. But I'm going to give you a few more numbers just to give you an idea. So we are celebrating our 50-year anniversary this year of the original location of Delhi. Of course, 20 years ago, we did have a renovation. But 20 years is a long time for carpet and furniture and all those things that these people are utilizing so much. Since we opened, an estimated 5 million people have visited the branch. So that's a lot of foot traffic. Roughly 1 million people have used our computers, and 1 million or more have sat at our tables or in our chairs, studying, getting tutored, using computers for their businesses, etc. And quite simply, our tables and chairs are wearing out. There are other areas that need repairs like sidewalks and electrical upgrades. But again, I'm blessed to be to be in one of the better conditioned branches. So this would really allow us to make all of the changes and upgrades that we need to all of our facilities across the county, as well as continue to provide the excellent service that we provide our customers in terms of materials to check out, programs to attend, things like that. I thank you guys so much for giving me the time to speak to you tonight, and I would like to see if you had any questions.
Nothing, Kathy?
Okay, thank you so much. I do appreciate it, and I will leave some information at the back.
That sounds great. Thank you very much. Okay, and voting day is May 8th, correct? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next we have the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance to talk about an energy efficiency program, and we have Mr. Kevin Tolan.
Thank you. And first off, thank you to Delhi Township trustees and Jack Cameron for allowing the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance to present this evening. Very much appreciated. And I wanted to introduce myself, Kevin Tolan. I'm actually joined by our CEO and president, Jerry Schmitz, as well as my colleague, Skylar Miller, are also here tonight. So we're going to dive right on in. Our organization, just so that you know, was founded in 2009 with the mission of facilitating energy efficiency and renewable energy investments in both the residential and commercial sectors. We are a member of the Better Business Bureau, and were voted the Nonprofit of the Year in 2013 by the Cincinnati, USA Regional Chamber of Commerce. We are here today to talk about boosting investment in energy efficiency and renewable energy investments at the household level in your community, and partnering with Delhi Township to get the word out about our Get Efficient and Solarize programs using your existing communication channels. The programs are free, non-exclusive, and non-binding, and specifically Get Efficient, which we'll get into in a minute, is being offered for free via the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance and the Due Class Benefit Fund. Oops, did I turn something off? Okay. The other way. Okay, there we go. Technology, it's fun. Right. Sorry about that. So both programs fall under our Efficiency Partners banner, and as a great way for Delhi Township to offer their residents an opportunity to plug into programs that will empower them via trusted sources to make informed decisions through an online assessment tool, and if they so choose, take the next steps making those improvements, saving money and energy, and upgrading their largest asset, which is their home, and improving the existing housing stock. So first up, our Get Efficient program was created to address several barriers in the marketplace, most notably where to turn for this information, who to trust, lack of time, and if needed, the necessary capital to make those necessary improvements. The Get Efficient program answers all of these questions with the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance there every step of the way, ensuring a whole home approach. And so as you can see here, and I just want to back up, this particular slide shows you these barriers that are ever present in getting people to make those investments. And here we have the answers. This program answers those questions to those barriers and kind of breaks through that. And so what we're offering is a free online assessment. It's through getefficient.org. We're the only nonprofit in the country that's actually offering this utility grade assessment. So that's first-rate experience for your residents. They have access to an energy advisor. That's us. Again, that's the handhold. And then we also have our highly qualified, very well-vetted contractor network that's been with us since 2009. And then on top of that, if they need it, there's also long-term financing partners that we have, and it's Vanderbilt, which is out of Tennessee. Their main client is the Tennessee Valley Authority. And now the user experience, and we've done a few screenshots for you. So when people go to getefficient.org, it's all web-based, clearly. 80% of our users are actually coming through their phones, so it's super easy to use. And then when they get to the website, they're at this landing page, super easy. It's a seamless process. The survey, the assessment takes roughly 5 to 10 minutes. And it is all picture-based, super intuitive, easy template. I know we ran through one with Jack and Greg, and they really enjoyed it, and it was easy, simple, and accessible. And as you can see, there are some other screenshots here. Just a really great way to engage with your residents and get them to do the survey. And then the results page gives you a preliminary assessment of your total potential annual savings and includes the categories where you can save the most. And just a little bit of detail on that, the categories are cooling, heating, electronic and lights, and then water heating. So all of the questions kind of fall into specific categories. We also have specific pages, recommendations that provide additional information for your residents to act upon. There could be DIY, and then there are other recommendations that would require connecting to the energy advisor, which is us again. And then the really cool feature among many The orange box, which says schedule a free call, that basically, when somebody clicks on that, it'll open up a calendar where your resident, depending on their schedule, could actually decide what time is best to have us reach out to them. So it's at their convenience to make that call. And then the next step is the energy advisor then calling them during that appointment time to actually review the preliminary assessments of that report. And then if they want to take the very next step, our contractor network is there and at the ready to make those improvements needed to make those energy efficiency upgrades. And then I just wanted to add, all of our contractors signed service level agreements so that we make sure that there are parameters in place to make sure that the residents are getting the quality of service and things are getting done on time. So there's that as well. And then a little bit about the financing option. Again, this is if they need it. That's that Vanderbilt partner that we have. It's long-term, fixed rate, unsecured. That bundle isn't always out there in the marketplace, but that's why we did our research in trying to find a great financing partner. And then project installation is scheduled. Again, GCA will make sure that contractors adhere to project goals and completion and that all parties are satisfied. And then quality assurance inspections will occur on a portion of all upgrades. That's another aspect that we have in place as well for quality control. And then program benefits, there are many. It's a pretty robust list. All of these apply to Delhi Township, and in particular, I know one of the big things that we've been hearing from a lot of local governments is, attracting the new kind of homeowner, the millennial demographic. Energy efficiency is certainly on their radar as one of the benefits that they're looking at. So this program certainly appeals to that. And it also boosts the local economy, upgrades the housing stock, and keeps it competitive. And then our other program, because we're doing a 2-in-1 tonight, is Solarize. It's our flagship program that we actually started with the city of Cincinnati, and we are now expanding beyond Cincinnati. So we're partnering with Get Efficient plus Solarize together. The program benefits, Solarize will allow your residents to tap into a free online solar assessment via solarizecincy.org, access to discounted pricing, contractor network, and you will help continue make Hamilton County, this is a fun fact, the leading county in the state of Ohio for solar installation. So I was surprised by that before I started working for the Energy Alliance. So that was an impactful aspect of our work, is that we're really moving the needle. And this particular program comes about basically from April through the end of June. So this one's certainly time sensitive. So we'd love to get you guys on board as soon as possible. And then my last slide is the partnership, just to kind of review that. It would be with the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance and Delhi Township. It's really about getting the word out for both programs, Get Efficient and Solarize, utilizing your municipal communication channels. And we would be doing basically a memorandum of understanding. And just so that you know, the ability to make this free from our organization is via those Duke class benefit funds. It requires sign off on that MOU so we can draw down those funds to help to pay for this portion of the program, just so that that's out there. That's all I got. Does anybody have any
Trustee
questions?
Davis has some questions.
Yes, and not so much questions. First of all, thank you so much, Kevin, for the presentation. And
Thank you.
and for both of you coming out also. As you were going through this, I'm remembering my days at UC in public speaking classes where they would say, tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them.
Did I do that
Follow
well?
me? You just gave a lot of information,
Yeah.
and it's good information and a wonderful presentation. But in 30 seconds, for people that are watching at home, what does this mean? What's the bottom line in layman terms on get efficient and solarize? You know, everyone wants to know what's in it for. Why should I do this? 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Here's what you're going to get. Here's why.
So basically, it's a really quick, easy, accessible way for your residents to access that online assessment tool to walk them through the entire process to help them realize that, you know, there are ways that they can save at home at the household level to make those much needed energy improvements to basically save them money at the end of the day, puts money in their pocket.
And even a program right on the cell phone. So if you're out and about, something you have one installed at your house, and you're thinking, "Oh man, I'm at work and I didn't set the thing; it's still set on 75." I can go in. Is it that accessible to where you can adjust from on the fly?
Well, depending on like the actual system that the contractor might be putting in, I would imagine most contractors and systems are able to do that now. So I think you're talking about the Nest system. So
And that's additional savings to them also to be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
So to clarify, you're not selling systems. You are a nonprofit that you're
Exactly.
selling this capability for a homeowner or the businesses or whatever. Businesses included?
This is more it's more
Okay,
residential.
Glad
Yes.
we clarified that.
Yep.
To look at their particular home and where they might save. Then you have the capability and this network of trusted vendors that
Correct.
they can go to.
Correct.
Okay, and then you oversee those vendors.
That is
per se,
correct.
to make sure that they're producing or providing
Exactly.
the product that you're kind of out there saying. So you're the nonprofit aspect
Exactly.
overseer.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
And our part, what you're asking us to do is to put on our website or whatever is to help
Correct.
promote
The
your program.
Exactly.
And then my other point is you're not related to our aggregate, which is
We are
also
not.
Energy
right.
Alliance.
Yes, we are the
okay?
Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance.
Right.
So,
So
yes,
you're
thank
a
you for
four-letter thing.
yes.
Okay,
exactly.
So I just want to make sure our residents know that we did not get into an aggregate relationship for electric and gas with somebody, and then all of a sudden we're coming in with this. It's
right.
a total separate
Totally
entity.
separate,
Okay,
yes.
just wanted to clarify it. Trustee Seavey.
Yeah, just my overall concept of this was so many residents are interested in finding green technologies. And what we've done as a community is kind of vetted you as being a good place to go to find out about these, but in no way are we telling our residents that this is a mandatory change or something's going to change on their bill or no. If you're a green-minded resident who's interested in these technologies, this is a safe place to land.
Correct. Yes.
And from that, I mean, that will turn them to you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. But I didn't want them to think we were mandating this or this was going to change their
Yeah.
Duke bill. I mean,
Got it.
please.
And out of this, we get nothing as a township.
No, there's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, there is nothing financial. There's no financial arrangement between your group and the community.
Correct.
Just the opportunity to be green.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Again, any other questions up here? No. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Trustee
Appreciate
Davis,
it.
Thank you for
Yes,
coming and
thank
taking
you.
the time out.
Yes.
Appreciate it. All right. Ready to move on to administration. Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2018-052, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance for a joint marketing initiative to promote energy efficiency improvements and solar power installations for residential household, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce to move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Cameron, or have we covered it? Please.
I don't think I can add anything to that other than thanking Mr. Tolan for pointing out that this was so simple that Mr. DeLong and I could do it.
Our cave.
And Mr. DeLong and I did go through the assessment and the solar piece, and like you said, we've kind of vetted it and think it's a useful thing to push out to residents. They could get a lot of value from it.
Okay, thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-053, resolution declaring certain items of personal property unfit for the use acquired, that the items have no value, authorizing disposal or salvage thereof, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move we dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-054, resolution declaring certain property no longer needed for public use, obsolete, and unfit for the use acquired, authorizing sale by internet auction, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-055, resolution establishing policies for use of the recycling dumpsters, authorizing the township administrator to implement the policies, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Cameron?
I too have a presentation, since it's presentation night. Unfortunately, Ms.
Yeah.
Ginny, you're
Left the-
going to want to come in and see this.
When you're finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to want to see this presentation.
So as Mr. Davis prefers, I'll tell you what I'm going to tell you. I've assessed or looked at the recycling dumpsters over the last, I'll say year, but more specifically, good weather time. So give you an assessment of the current situation, what some options are, expectations of, what we're trying to accomplish, and then an action plan. So as I looked at the recycling dumpsters and look at those from time to time, and we talk about them, I kind of, feel like it's similar to going to the park. Everybody's been to the park, and you've gone to take your kids, nieces, nephews, whatever, to swing on the swings. And one day the swings are full. There's somebody on every swing. Public amenity, you like to go and use it, but there's somebody on every swing. What we seem to be have occurring is people pushing kids off of swings to get on a swing because they're there and it's just their right to get on the swings. Well, I don't find that acceptable. Here's a picture of what these look like, and I just find it abusive of, the township provides this amenity, and then this is what happens. If there's nowhere to put something, they just set it there. They set it on top. There's boxes on top, there's boxes on the side. So to over-dramatize things, people are pushing kids off of the swings to get on the swings because they're there and they want to use them at that particular time. So I don't find that acceptable. What we have currently in looking into this, 50% of our residents, roughly 50%, use Rumpke for their waste collection at home, and roughly 50% use Best Way. So we're pretty split. Best Way does not do recycling pickup. Rumpke does recycling pickup. So the township provides this at no cost to residents. We have a few issues that continue to occur. One of those is litter, and litter happens, I think, mostly because the lids can't be closed on the containers or stuff is outside of the containers. That could be when it's being dumped or before it's being dumped, but litter starts floating around, and that is problematic. The manpower to deal with the cluster of stuff that's out there when things are not in a dumpster and easily maintained. We have people putting microwaves, tires, mattresses, furniture, televisions that's not recyclable. They know it's not recyclable. So we see that happening. So I kind of look at this as an open bar mentality or a free-for-all. So that's the current situation. One thing I was curious about was how many are residents, how many are non-residents. So Chief Howarth graciously and the Delhi Citizens on Patrol went and surveilled for 20 hours is what they ultimately did. And 86% are residents, 14% are non-residents. Over this 20 hours, 229 vehicles. I think every day but Tuesday they were out there. Every day but Tuesday and Sunday they did some hours. So small snippet, but clearly we have a non-resident presence. Over the course of time, this started in 2006, I believe, and we had 923 tons, and this is just over the years, 923 tons, including curbside pickup at somebody's house. So this is the Delhi total. And then 2017, it was 707 tons. We do get grant dollars based on the tonnage, and in 2006, we got about $20,000. In 2017, it was back up to almost $20,000. So we do get some reimbursement for this, so it's not 100% cost, but we do expend our own money. Okay, so what are some options to consider? Just brainstorming options, which we've done. One thing that has occurred recently is Rumpke's agreed to pick up in Greene and Coleraine townships. They've added a recycling component to their current customers at no charge. We reached out to them. They declined that option. Greene and Coleraine have different logistics and numbers of users that it didn't work for them in Delhi. So we've asked that question. Group bidding or putting it out as the township as a whole. We've contemplated that and adding recycling to that. That is certainly an option, but with Bestway and Rumpke being pretty split, it would seem that might drive the price up and not down to add the recycling. So I don't know that that's a great option. Removing the dumpsters, we're kind of assuming we're keeping them and trying to work through and get resolved to make it more usable, but removing them is certainly an option. Adding dumpsters, again, we want to see if we can't get the behavior changed first before we add or do anything different. Changing the dumpster configuration, we could obviously do nothing. We have the dumpster in the middle, which is a 6-yard top load, so those lids go up and people put their stuff in. The one on the left is an 8-yard container, which we could switch to. There are sliding doors on the side, so the top would be, you wouldn't be able to open it, so you just throw things in the side. And then there's a 4-yarder, so those are just some of the sizes and other options. Rumpke has a cardboard-only container. Would be great if it accepted more than cardboard, but they only allow cardboard in these. So we'd probably still have some open-top containers, and so those would, people would put cardboard in those. I don't think that would solve our problem. All right, so going into this and working through it, I think some of the expectations that I have, and I'm going to assume we all have these from what I've seen and heard, we certainly want to promote recycling. We just approved a partnership for energy, so I think recycling falls in that same line. I think you would like to continue doing that. We would like to continue doing that at no charge. We like providing that service and option for residents so that they have that. So those are two things I think we can continue to expect. Would like to contain the cost so that we have some measure of control of it, and it's not just we have to deal with whatever comes. I'd like to contain the cost some or make it more known and not at everybody else's whim on how it's used. So dumpster expense, manpower expense. And I would like to see the behavior get changed. I mean, my analogy of somebody kid getting pushed off a swing, that's really how I feel when I look at these dumpsters and how people use them and just put things there. So I think we should ask and force a behavior change, because that's not acceptable, and that has other benefits. So getting away from the open bar. Here's what I propose and what we've talked about. So the next action on your agenda is to adopt some rules. So some rules which would be resident and business residents only. You would have approved materials only, which is already basically a rule because that's all that should be put in them. Lids must be closed, so when you put something in, the lid has to close and not be propped open. Break your boxes down. One of the issues we continue to see is just whole boxes that aren't broken down, and they take up, the whole box in space volume. And then put hours when people can put stuff there. So it's not any time of day, of night. So 6 to 9 a.m. Once we do that, I would suggest education. So get 3 new signs, and I'll show you just a little bit more about that. New stickers for the dumpsters that promote the recycling material. Targeted days to check IDs, so like a checkpoint like we do for the cleanup, where you're stopping and checking IDs, helping people get the stuff out, telling them what they're supposed to do and not do, and continue to reinforce this is a privilege, it's not a right. The swings are at the park, but if somebody's on the swing, you need to wait your turn or come back when the park's not as busy. And this is not an open dump site. I think Ron, who tends to like watching the footage of this, will tell you that people go and do the craziest things and treat it just like an open dump site. It's kind of crazy. So here's mock-up of the sign that we would use, the same rules, but there would be 3 spots that I would suggest these go, and this is kind of the layout of what we do for a checkpoint day. These red things are where the signs would go. So there's one on a pole coming in, 4x3 signs, big, white, bold, simple to read, can't mistake it, and then one on each side of the dumpsters. And so just as be like a checkpoint here, and then queue cars up and help tell them what to do for the recycling dumpsters. Enforcement would be another huge component of this. The non-recycling materials, tires, microwaves, TVs, mattresses, anything that's not listed on that people know darn well is not recycling, the county prosecutor will prosecute people who leave those materials. So that is something that we're going to make a point of doing. The county prosecutor will deal with that. Then we would need to enforce the rules we put in place that will be ours to enforce and prosecute. Checking IDs, we're going to get a new camera out there so it's very clear. We can identify license plates and descriptions. We have a camera now, but I think we need a better one to use as evidence if we're going to go to the prosecutor for that. Lighting the area, we've been doing that, so that's something we have done. And then patrolling more. So the enforcement side of things, I think, is key to making this work. A few things we have done, the last several collections, we've made sure somebody is out there when it's dumped so the things are getting picked up right away and not blowing around. We haven't really been doing that. It's been more of a reactive than proactive in that regard. Reviewing it, making sure the behaviors are changing. If we need more containers and they're being used responsibly, then fine, we can add more containers, but let's make sure people use it responsibly before we decide to do any changes. And we could also consider a different waste hauler if we need different containers or different service levels. So what I just told you is I want to keep from dealing with people getting caught up in the swings and turned upside down, and then we've got to go straighten out the mess. And I would like to have happy kids swinging on the swings so that we're getting out of this business and more into this business where we have a nice clean dumpster area.
Trustee Davis?
Well, everything seems so happy in the world, the swings, and thank you, Jack. There you go. There you go. Welcome to Delhi. We should put that at the entrance to all of our the township when you enter. Just welcome to Delhi. Family friendly. There's so many things, and when you bring up 2006 and just kind of being around then when all this was taking off, and it was a great idea, it really was, and it was a successful program, and it was so successful that here we are talking about it in 2018, thinking we still have some of the same problems. And I applaud you, Mrs. Burke, who through the years, has, as you guys know, has been here because you literally live right there and you see it every day, and the stuff blows in your yard. So, and we know. So I'm thrilled, and thank you, Jack, that we're actually trying to do something about this. Just a couple quick observations. You could put 30 dumpsters up there and you'll still find people packing them. So that I don't know if that's a good idea. Involving the county prosecutor, I think to me, it's great that they're saying, oh yeah, we would prosecute, but seriously, I think a prosecutor has other things to do with their time than if we sit here and say these people dumped 2 tires, and because if you're dumping tires or something like that, you're probably not doing it that often, unless you're finding frequent flyers that are doing this every day. And I don't know by the license plates you guys are getting or the people that you're talking with if these are people that are doing this consistently. To me, it's maybe a one and done type of thing, or hey, I'll just run this up there. It is a real issue, and it is a problem, and others to step up to the plate who want to take over the recycling, or anyone in the township. I don't think we'd find that. I don't think anyone has said they've wanted to do that. But I'm thrilled. But I think this is going to be an ongoing discussion. I think, besides just right here tonight, I think there's a lot here to really kind of contemplate kind of what we want to do. And if it is enforcement, as the officers will say, they've got other things going on too. And is it a citizens on patrol? Is it I don't know. And I don't think it's going to be answered tonight, but I would like to continue the discussion and obviously kind of hear what everybody else has to say on it. I think the smile sign, you're on camera, is a great sign if the cameras are really there and you can send something out, a little notice saying, hey, TikTok, you're clocked. Just saw this. Please don't do that again. Next time you will be fined. That might be a nice way to enforce it, to where somebody gets a letter, because as you know, in Delhi, something like that would spread pretty fast if someone would get a letter or two like that. So maybe we do look at that type of enforcement and getting those letters out. That's just my first couple of thoughts. I'll open up to you guys.
Right. Trustee Seavey.
Yeah, I think the rules, Jack, we've had those rules in place, and the rules are just so simple to deny. Deny. But the significant difference in what you've put together here is going to the prosecutor's office and actually getting their agreement to do this. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really sad that that's what we've come to, that we're going to actually cite residents for disrespecting and disobeying the laws of a privilege of recycling. It's just come to this. And I hope that this is as far as it has to go, because the only thing left after actually prosecuting people for disobeying these rules is removing the dumpster. So I see this as an all-out last effort to get it cleaned up, keep the dumpsters, and allow people to be conscientious and green and recycling. So please, everyone, again, if you have a question, if it's recyclable, consider it not to be until you've talked to someone, okay? There'll be signs there to help you and to aid you in making that decision. But the biggest difference I see tonight presented in the dumpsters is actually the violation and the citation and making people stop.
And hopefully there will be very few that we have to, because like you said, it's going to spread in Delhi. Mm-hmm. That person that gets that first citation, it's going to spread. And, I wouldn't want to be the second one, and so it's kind of like they know our police force is out there. And you have people saying, you don't want to speed through Delhi. You don't want to drink drunk in Delhi. We enforce the rules. And that's a good start. So I'm hoping it's 1 or 2 citations, and after that, things calm down.
Amen.
But I applaud everybody who's made this effort. I mean, I know the police have been involved, and I know the parks and roads and everybody. You've all been involved, and DCPA, and Mr. Ryan and his Sunday pounding of the boxes in the dumpsters. And that's another thing. Yeah,
The dumpster dance.
Dumpster dance. Yeah, dumpster dance. Well, that's another thing is Rumpke's not real happy with us because we do compact those. I mean, they take a front loader or whatever, and they're pounding that down, and they're putting them in there. They don't like that because it doesn't empty out nicely. So Rumpke's not real happy with us either. And so hopefully these rules will keep us from getting yelled at, and everybody can be happy and smiling on the playground. All right. So thank you. Lots of good work. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're to, I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Okay, next we're up to Parks and Recreation.
Motion 2018-066, adjusting the hourly rate of Mary C. Anakin, Special Event and Program Coordinator, to $13.91 per hour, effective April 11th, 2018.
I move motion 2018-066.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes.
Motion 2018-067, approve the hiring of Lydia M. Brigham as seasonal Parks and Recreation worker in the Parks and Recreation Department at a pay rate of $9 per hour, effective April 16th, 2018, upon the successful completion of the drug testing and background check.
I move motion 2018-067.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. It's that time of year, huh, Mr. Torbeck? We'll be seeing a lot of these.
Motion 2018-068, approve and allow open fishing at Clearview Lake and Delhi Park on Fridays starting in May and ending in October from 7 a.m. to dusk and as amended from time to time as needed per the Parks and Recreation Director's discretion.
I move motion 2018-068.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. And again, Mr. Torbeck, this is for residents only?
For residents only. Last year was the first time we did free Friday fishing on from 7 a.m. till dusk, and it went well, and everybody seemed happy and enjoyed it. So we'll continue doing that year after year as long as everybody obeys the rules and everything goes smoothly. So
And those rules are catch and release?
catch and release, we have a designated fishing area that's far enough away from the walking trail so that shouldn't disturb any walkers. Clean up after yourself and just, have respect for the people around you.
All right, thank you. Okay, tonight we have nothing from the fire department, nor public works, or the police department. So we'll move on to community development. Please, Mr. Luby.
Motion 2018-069, approve the filing of an application by the Community Development Director with the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governments for consideration in their community energy plan process.
I move motion 2018-069.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Mr. Cameron, do you have any comments on this?
I would just clarify, this is different than what you did earlier. It's a grant application through the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governments to do an energy audit for our facilities, our community as a whole, and then related to economic development opportunities. So it's a grant application where and I think the Greater Cincinnati Energy Alliance is part of that process as well, but it's just applying for it to see what we can learn if we get chosen.
And they choose 2 a year?
They have the opportunity to do 8, and I think
Okay.
they have 5 slots left.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
Resolution 2018-056, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5368 Plover Lane and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second.
Any discussion on this resolution? Are you
I'm
filling
a-
in for Greg?
Are you?
In lieu of Mr. DeLong, he did go out. He was here earlier, and the nuisance is still there. So we would ask you to approve this resolution.
Does this resolution follow our new junk vehicle parameters? I believe it does.
It's just accumulated debris.
Yeah, it just has.
This is different than than those regulations. Those are much more stringent. This is
Okay, so
what
which
we've
is
done
right?
for-
Accumulated debris, as it reads in the resolution, or junk or junk vehicle?
PowerPoint's wrong.
Oh, PowerPoint is wrong. Black and white is right. Okay, then, I'm good.
Just look at the picture. Sorry.
Just don't read the title.
Just don't read it. Don't read it, Cheryl. Just look at the picture.
Let's go back to the swings again. That was a fun talk in the swing.
Okay.
Hey, I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2018-057, resolution declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 445 Leith Avenue and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Cameron?
This also still existed as of this morning, so we would ask you to approve the resolution declaring this a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second motion to dispense with the second reading of the resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution passes. I have no citizen comments requests tonight, and we'll move on to announcement of community events. Mr. Luby.
The Community Electronics Recycling Day, sponsored by Mount St. Joseph Environmental Action Committee and Oak Hills, will be Saturday, April 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will take place at the Oak Hills High School at 3200 Ebenezer Road. Help Save the Bees lecture, hosted by the Delhi Parks and Recreation Department, will be Tuesday, April 17th at 6:30 p.m. It will be at the Glen Carter Lodge at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Community Yard Sale, hosted by the Delhi Parks and Recreation Department, will be Saturday, April 21st from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Senior Community Center at 647 Neeb Road. The Falls Prevention Conversation for Caregivers, provided by the Delhi Fire Department, will be Monday, April 24th from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. It will be at the fire station at 697 Neeb Road. Coffee with the Chiefs will be Thursday, April 26th from 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. at Frisch's in Delhi. The Community Shred Day, hosted by the Delhi Business Association, will be Saturday, May 5th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It will be at C.O. Harrison School at 585 Neeb Road. The Cleanup Delhi Day, hosted by the Delhi Parks and Recreation Department, will be Saturday, May 5th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You must be in line by 1 p.m. Will be at the Delhi Senior Community Center at 647 Neeb Road. The Delhi Spring Craft and Vendor Show, hosted by the Delhi Parks and Recreation Department, will be Saturday, May 12th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Senior Community Center at 647 Neeb Road. That's all we have.
Thank you very much.
There being no further business brought before the board, I move we adjourn.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Our next regular scheduled trustee meeting is Wednesday, April 25th at 6 p.m. Have a good evening.